All right, sport fans, we're over here, Half Baked Sports in Studio B over here, my friend Larry's. And this week, we all have a different team from the AFC North, and we're going to break it down individual and then basically try to get a group discussion afterwards. Team I drew this week is Pittsburgh. The Steel Nation up there. Definitely a tough team, not only to cover, but to do research on. Not too hard with the head coach. Coaching staff is pretty much the same. Only new one is the offensive coordinator, which is Matt. I think it's called. It looks Canada, but Canada, or I don't know how to say his last name. He basically was freshly promoted from the QB coach. Taking a look at how they've done the last few years. Last year, as we all know, there was so much hype with the 11-0 start that everybody got kind of caught up in it, and nobody really paid attention that the quality of opponents wasn't really. It was like mediocre. So the 11-0 was definitely met with a very disappointing finish here when they ran into Washington and got their first loss, which, if anybody was watching us at that time, I did come up with that pick as a potential hit in the face because that defense over in Washington was stout. And then, of course, who knew that what's his name? QB came back from broken leg, right? Anyway, I'll think of his name later. So that was the 2020 season. They finished 12-4, made appearance in the playoffs, but lost to Cleveland, who they just lost to in the last game of the season. Now, they definitely have a lot of questions to answer, which I think they did in the draft. If you take a look at what they did in the draft, they got a running back round 1, tight end round 2. Then they picked up a guard and an offensive tackle in round 3 and 4 to round out some of that offense, that offensive line. Definitely taking a look at the opponents this year. They have their work cut out for them. They have the NFC North, as we all know, Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota, and, of course, Chicago. Definitely can't sleep on any one of those teams. Maybe with Chicago's offense being questionable, you could probably take them for granted, but then that defense could come back and bite them. Minnesota's got a solid offense and defense. Green Bay, the only question mark about them is Aaron Rodgers. If he's there, you can't sleep on them either. That may be their first loss, taking a look if they get past Buffalo in Buffalo week 1. So, ladies and gents, take a look at the schedule. Take a look at the draft picks. Let me know what you think. Comment below. And stick with us. We got a couple more guys coming up to give their team.
Hey, check it back, sports people. This is Kendall. Hey, you all know who I am. My homework this week, of course, AFC North that I'm taking hold of. I have the Cleveland Browns. Of course, you all know that the Baltimore Ravens, Cincinnati Bengals, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are all in that division. Last season, I'll hashtag on this for a second, y'all. It was kind of quite funny how that worked out for them. Basically, you're looking at Pittsburgh. They took the lead in the division, of course. They went 12-4. The Ravens, 11-5. Cleveland, which actually stepped their game up from last season, doing 11-5. Cincinnati Bengals, of course, they were 4-11. One at the low end of the totem pole. Even though they're in the same division, both Ohio teams, I don't see too much happening with both those guys this year, or this coming season, excuse me. But Cleveland is one to look out for, of course, in Pittsburgh. Baltimore is still in the running to an extent there. Teams they are going to have to look out for, absolutely, is the NFC North and the AFC West. Just quick breakdown of those two divisions. NFC North, of course, you're looking at the Bears and Lions, the Packers, and the Vikings. And AFC West, the Broncos, KC, Raiders, and the Chargers. Of course, y'all who watches football, y'all understand who did what last season and who's going to be in what bracket, where they're at on that totem pole, better said. I want to go into a little bit about the Browns, of course, their coach. And it's kind of funny I bring that up when I bring up the coaching carousel that's been going on, of the hiring and firing and things of that nature. Kelvin Stravinsky got brought in last season, and basically him coming as a head coach for the Cleveland Browns actually kind of elevated them quite a bit. From the Browns a few years back, they really didn't have any wins at all. They looked like Cincinnati's record as of last season, 4-11, somewhere in that realm. But over the last year, coming into this season, they're actually doing very well. Cleveland was in the playoffs. I forgot their record on that. But just to bring you guys up to speed, we got to look at Baker Mayfield. Well, he's not the team, but he had a very, very extensive year last season. A lot of talk about him with his contract extension, and from what sources are saying, Baker Mayfield at all, he's not concerned about contract extension, how much money. He's focused on the field, and that's where a leader as a quarterback should be focused, which is a good thing. Because, I mean, you guys think about, well, who's the captain of the team, or, who's the leader? Well, everyone should be the leader on the team. And, of course, they look at the quarterback. So he had a very good year last season. He wants to take the guys to another playoff victory, of course. And you got to look at it that he was the 2018 number one pick that was his breakout season, is basically what they were saying. So them going to a playoff victory, it's been 26 years. I did look that up for a fact on that. But Mayfield did throw pretty consistent in what he did by gaining that playoff spots for the team. Just to give you a rundown, 63 pass completions, 23 touchdowns with only 8 interceptions, which was a good thing. Getting to the wrap-up, we have to think about a new look as far as players go. The word on the street now is that they've added 8 new defensive starters through the offseason, including some names that, of course, you guys also, would know, of course, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, among being, star pass rusher and Pro Bowl cornerback. So it's going to be kind of a different, angle as they get to the rest of the season. And lastly, I do want to bring up Odell Beckham. Is he going to be 100% after that ACL injury? We don't know, but we all know who Odell Beckham is. Hey, let's just see if the Browns can do it this coming season. So here we go. We'll catch y'all next time. Thank you.
All right, sports fans, we're going to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals today. This team has been at the bottom of the AFC North for quite a while. Last year, 2020 season, we were 4-11. The previous season before, we were 2-12. But even with the addition of Burrows, we only managed to win 2 more games. So now with AJ Green gone, not that he was a big problem, but he wasn't healthy enough to stay on the field to be productive enough for Burrows. So now we have the addition of Jamar Chase, Autumn Tate, and now Tyler Boyd. So it's a young receiving core with the addition of Thaddeus Moss, who is obviously the son of Randy Moss. So we are expecting big things out of him since we acquired him over the offseason. We shored up the offensive line through the draft with some couple of tackles here and there to shore up Joe Burrow's protection around him. Joe Mixon is also getting healthy. He looks fired up. He has a couple of comments on social media that you should check out for entertainment wise. And then also they mainly shored up the defense. So they acquired pieces like a defensive end Hendrickson from New Orleans and Eli Apple, free agent in the offseason for corner, and also away from Dallas. So these are good man corners to shore up the defense. So if they want to bring pressure, they won't have to worry about their secondary as much. They also added safety Ricardo Allen. So that's a good addition. So they're looking like they're improving their defense and offense. And it looks like they're going to, based on what the additions they added, it looks like they're going to look for striking early and quickly and try to keep the pace up at the beginning of the game. So towards the end of the game, if they do lag behind or if they can't get off the field, at least they're high enough up in points to kind of coast their way out to a victory. With that being said, with the addition of that the Browns and the Ravens and the Steelers made, it's a big, tough uphill battle for them, but it's not impossible. They just got to keep to their P's and Q's and just get out the ugly. It looks like they're going to have to get out these ugly victories, like maybe like a field goal or something, to win in this division. Because looking at the Browns last year were 11-5. They improved to match the Ravens and Steelers. And with the Steelers kind of dwindling down with Ben Roethlisberger kind of showing his age, the AFC North is up for grabs for the other 3 teams, especially the Bengals. There's no bar holes at this point. So it's up to the Bengals this year.
Half-baked sports fans, I'm in Larry's corner right now giving my take on the Baltimore Ravens this year, past year. This year, what you got going on, what you need to do is fix the problems you had last year where you have to shore up your defense. You have to show up. Give Lamar Jackson other options other than what he had. He has some good options on wide receiver, but not so much in the running back game. And I'm gonna go a throwback back here. Y'all can see this. This was a defense. These two numbers on that defense made that defense. You got to find that. You got to do that. And with that being said, what I'm really looking forward to this year is the Baltimore Ravens taking the AFC North division. I see them winning it without having any problems with anybody else in that division. The biggest thing I'm seeing for their problems is the playoffs. I think they're gonna run 12-5 or 13-4, and actually be a threat to the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. Cleveland, I'm sorry, I can give you all the props all the world, all the way around, but y'all, if Lamar Jackson is playing where he needs to be, and he didn't take the season off, he's been fine-tuning his game the whole offseason. Whereas everybody else going on vacation doing this. This man been trying to say, hey, you know what? I need to better myself. I need to make myself a better player. Now he got some other weapons added to the weapons he had. His offensive line has been beefed up. That's fine. That part of the play is fine. The defensive side, you guys need to step up a little bit more, and challenge these wide receivers that's going out there and deep threatening you guys, because your secondary is your problem, not your front four, not your second three. Your secondary is the issue. Lamar Jackson, calm down a little bit. Throw the ball. Prove them that you're a pocket passer. Only run when you need to run, because they're going to guard against that anyway, and that's going to give you an option to get that ball out that backfield to somebody else. Coach John Harbaugh, I believe that's your last name. Do your thing. You already know what you need to do. Get this team right where it's poised to be. Because you really don't have no threat from the Bengals. You don't have a real threat from the Cleveland Browns. But you do have a threat from the Pittsburgh Steelers, because I think Ben Roethlisberger is running around with a chip on his shoulder right now, and you might have to deal with that. Pittsburgh defense is never a joke. Ever a joke. They're always solid. The offense is where you can win. And Pittsburgh, Baltimore, I think those are the top two teams that are going to actually have to win it out. Whoever takes that division goes to the Super Bowl. I'm John Showtime Hughes. I'm out.